Me again. Welcome back to the channel. So the first two videos I've made have actually done alright, considering they had no subs, no views, nothing. So thank you all for watching me blab on. I hope you're all enjoying the content because I'm really enjoying making it. So, bit of a different one for you today. I found a really high quality Ariana Grande vocal online, and I thought it'd be interesting to see what her voice would sound like in a different genre. I'm thinking about doing a few of these kind of videos, maybe a different genre every episode. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to hear. Anyway, let's get into it. So I was going to film me writing the whole thing, but it took me such a long time. It would have been an absolute nightmare to edit. So I've just gone ahead and written everything, and I'm just going to break down exactly what I've done. So I'll play it from the top.
I get tired of your no-shows. You get tired of my control. They keep telling me to let go, but I don't really let go when I say so. I'm so different when you're not there. It's like something out of Shakespeare, because I'm really not here when you're not there. I've tried to fight our energy, but every time I think I'm free, yeah. You get high and call on the regular. I get weak and fall like a teenager.
So that's the full thing, and I'm just going to break down step by step what I've done. So we started off with this a cappella, which I found on YouTube.
I get tired of your no-shows. You get tired of my control.
Now obviously this is like a studio a cappella, so it's already really heavily processed, but there's a couple of things I wanted to add just for this track. So I took out some of the low end, and then I sort of dipped in this frequency because it was sort of like a weird radio sort of frequency.
Let go when I say so. I keep giving people blank stares.
And then this one was like a harsh frequency that I didn't like.
I'm so different when you're not there. It's like something out of Shakespeare, because I'm really not here when you're not there.
Didn't feel the need to boost because obviously this is already a fully mixed vocal, so I didn't want to make it too bright. So after we have the vocal, we added the drums, which sound like this. Now for this we're using the GGD One Kit Wonder Aggressive Rock. As you can see, minimal processing because this already sounds brilliant. Just a little dip here, just taking some brightness off. And then we have two clean guitars, left side playing like a picking rhythm. And then the right side just strumming out chords. And the second half of this first verse, we've got the bass that comes in, and for that we're using the Neural DSP Dark Glass. And we've just got a noise gate cutting out everything between the notes, so without that it sounds quite noisy. Turn it on. Just cleans everything up nicely between the notes. Then we've got an EQ, which is just taking out the super lows, bumping some of the low mids, big scoop in the mid range, and a nice high shelf just to give it that sort of pick attack. So without that, that sounds like this. And then with. Very subtle, but in the context of a mix you can really tell. And then we're just hitting it very gently with a compressor, just taking some of those peaks off. Barely doing anything, to be honest. So then for this next section, we've got most of the elements dropping out to sort of build into the main chorus. So all we've got here is the a cappella, and we've got this ambient guitar. Sounds like this. So for that, we're just using the archetype nollie from Neural DSP. We've got this clean mid ambience tone, which on its own sounds like this. Nothing too exciting really, but when you add a huge reverb with a lot of wet signal, you get that ambient drone sort of pad feel. Starting to get there. And then we've just used Devil Lock with different settings on left and right. So going pretty hard with that, and that sounds like this. And then just to clean it up a little bit, we've got an EQ, but we're only processing the mids. So we're taking all this mid information out of the center of the audio, and that sort of gives it the width and makes the sides more prominent. Without that, it just sounds too cluttered in the middle. Okay, now for the beef. So here, the drums ramp up a little bit. It's at this point in the track where I felt like the drums needed to be a bit more punchy and hard hitting. So what I did was I automated this drum crush, and that sounds like this. And all that is just a send from the drums to this aux channel, which has a Devil Lock on it, and we're hitting it pretty hard. And then after that we have this EQ just to clean up everything. So without the EQ it sounds like this. I mean, that's nearly the sound we're after, but it's just too overbearing, so we need to tame a lot of this. So here's what we did. So this cut here takes away a lot of that harshness. I'll show you what I mean. That's not something you want. We also got rid of some of that around 400 Hertz. Sounds like almost like the wind, if you get what I mean. Just not a very nice sound. And we have that very low in the mix. We don't want it too powerful. And to beef up the drums even more, we've added some samples. So we've got this kick sample that comes in. And we also have this big snare. And what sort of metal song wouldn't have big distorted guitars? So that's what we did. So we've quad tracked the same thing 4 times just to give it that huge wall of sound vibe, and here's what they sound like. And that's just the archetype nollie from Neural DSP with the cab section turned off. So that alone sounds like this. Not very pleasant until you add this, the GGD Cali Oversized, which is a massive library of cabs that you can pick from. And I've gone for this modern and massive preset here. So that gives it this sound. And we just have a little EQ here, taking out some harshness around sort of 2 to 3K. And then to compensate for that, we've just given a little high shelf just above, just so we don't lose any of that brightness. And then in the second half of this chorus, I felt like there was too much space in between the guitar parts. So I added this guitar lead. And we've sort of taken out a lot of the lows, a lot of the highs, and boosted this sort of 1K range, just to give it that radio effect. Probably go a bit higher, to be honest. And then we've just put that in a space with a little plate. I think that's it. Oh, there's one more thing here in this section. I just wanted her voice to fill out that section there. So I took this part of the vocal and I just added a big reverb, full wet signal, 8-second decay, and then an echo buoy just to drag it on a little longer. So it just sort of fills in the space where there's no singing. Oh, there's one more thing as well. In this build up, I added this little synth bass. I'm not sure why, I just felt like it fit.